Hershey, and today we are going to be talking about some things you might not know about being a loan officer. And on this show, we go through tips for new loan officers and also talk about how to get licensed for anybody that is not licensed yet. We can actually help you through that process at newmlo.com. So on this show, we have special guests, top producing loan officers, realtors, mortgage executives, and we use this as a platform to help new or aspiring loan officers. So, for you future top producing loan officers out there, we definitely have a lot of information for you to take in. And again, if you are not in the industry yet, we are more than happy to help you get licensed if you go to newmlo.com. Now, I think right now is the best time to get licensed as a loan officer. I think there's definitely changes coming. Interest rates are on the way down, and I think now is the time to get into the business and start originating loans, start calling leads and building up that pipeline. I do believe that it's a great time to get into the industry. You know, a lot of loan officers have left the industry over the last couple of years because the interest rates were high, and it's definitely hard to make it in this business when rates go up and nobody's refinancing, etc. And so I think it's a great time to get into it because obviously there's a lot of people who left. That's less competition. And there's definitely some movement coming up ahead. We don't know exactly what that movement is, but most likely probably rates trending more downward as they are already trending downward now. So I think it's a great time if you're not licensed yet to get your license and to get in the business, start building up that pipeline so you can start closing some deals as rates go down even further. So definitely a great time, I think, to be a loan officer. And for loan officers that are still licensed and made it through the era of those high interest rates, I think it's a great time to start maybe investing in leads and investing in your career more so that you can have deals coming in as these rates lower. So it's very important timing in the industry. And as you can see, I mean, there was 100,000 plus loan officers who quit over the last couple of years and let their licenses lapse because it is definitely a difficult industry, but it is an industry that's worth it. And you're going to have to do well during the well times and still build up that pipeline so that you can so that you can make it through the tough times, because there are cycles in this industry. There are tough times in this industry, but I believe that it's worth it if you do well when the times are good, and if you build up your pipeline of repeat customers and people who trust you and realtor partners who can refer you deals. I feel like that will carry you through the tougher times as long as you're doing good business on a repeated cycle there. So you know in the business, I feel like you don't want to enter the business when everybody else is entering the business, right? As rates go lower, there's going to be more people that want to get their license and get into the business. You want to get into the business when others quit. So you want to get into the business now while everybody else quit. A large portion of licensed loan officers 3 years ago are no longer licensed now because of the work that has to be done to make it through those hard years. But you don't want to wait until rates are going way down and everybody and their grandma wants to be a loan officer, right? You want to get in now. You want to get your pipeline going, call leads, get people to work with you so that when the rates do hit that point where people are wanting to refinance or people are making offers on more homes, you want to be right there with that pipeline built up. You want to be top of mind. You want to be the person they call, right? You don't want to be calling customers for the first time when rates go down as well, right? You want to already have spoken to them. You want to be the loan officer that's top of mind. So when they say, oh, wow, rates are really going down now, I think it's time for us to refi, or I think it's time for us to move and purchase a new home. You want to already be there, top of mind, and be the one who has spoken to them. And so it's important to get into the industry now if you want to really take advantage of the booms that are going to come when rates inevitably get lower. So how do you become a loan officer? Well, it's really quite easy. It's not necessarily simple, but it's very easy. So you can go to newmlo.com and you can take that course. It includes the 20 hours of education that you need to get your license through the NMLS. It includes the state education that you need to get your license, as well as study guide and test prep. So that way you can prepare for the exam and you can be walked through the entire process, because it is an easy process. It's just not that simple. You need somebody to walk you through of where to submit to what agencies and in what order. So it's not a huge difficult process, but it's definitely something that you want to be walked through so you can get that whole experience of start to finish, helping you get your license at newmlo.com. Again, that's newmlo.com. And once you get your license, you want to start making calls, right? You want to start getting leads. You want to start letting everybody in your sphere know that you are a loan officer now, so that again, when rates go down, they remember, hey, my cousin or my friend or whatever it is a loan officer, they can help us out. So it's very important once you're newly licensed to let everybody know that you're a loan officer. There's a lot of times where people say, oh, my friend or family did a transaction without me. Well, did you really let them know that you're a loan officer, that you can help them out? You need to let everybody in your network know, preferably with a phone call, but at least with a text message, obviously with emails, of just making sure that everybody knows and putting it out there over and over again, putting out different, information on your social media, putting pictures and videos of you at different events so that so that you stay top of mind with them of, yes, this is my mortgage person. This is my friend that's now in the mortgage business. They're serious. They're out there. They're always reminding me that they are, there to do my mortgage. So very important for, excuse me, very important for you to get licensed now and to be able to get out there, make sure your sphere knows that you're licensed, make sure that you start calling some leads as well and start building that lead pipeline. And that way, when the rates go even lower and it triggers a lot of people to refi and put in new offers on homes, that you're already in that process. You don't want to start late. Don't wait until everybody else wants to get licensed to get going. You want to already be licensed, already have your pipeline going, already make sure that everybody knows that you're a loan officer so you can get their business when the time comes. What separates a successful loan officer from the unsuccessful one? So that's what we're going to talk about on the show a lot. We're going to have some guests, some top producing loan officers, talk about what they do differently to make sure that they're top producers. But just in general, to go over a few key factors here, obviously, the best loan officers have a lot of speed, right? And I don't mean speed as in necessarily speed to closing, because there's a lot of different factors that come into play when closing a loan that are outside of the loan officer's control. But what I mean by speed as a loan officer is that you're doing everything on your end as fast as possible. You can't wait a day, 2 days after you get something back for you to do your part and send it out. We don't get paid until a loan closes. And so we want to make sure that we're really on top of everything and that we do everything we can on our end. We don't ever want us to be holding back the transaction as a loan officer, right? We want to make sure that our part is done. Maybe the inspection is holding it up. Maybe the appraisal is holding it up. There's plenty of things that can hold up a transaction, but it shouldn't be us as a loan officer. And I think the best loan officers out there know that. They act accordingly. When you're in your flow of working as a loan officer, when something comes back on a file that you need to do and it's actual loan in progress, you kind of drop everything you're doing, right? You're not going to sit there and be calling new leads when there's something that came back, an appraisal that came back that has to be dealt with. The LTV has to be changed. The disclosures have to go out for that. You can't wait a day or 2 or 3 on your end to make that happen because you're calling new leads, right? You're going to kind of have to drop everything you're doing and make sure that you get to that, because speed is a huge part of it. Remember that a lot of the times we're working with realtor partners that referred us this deal, especially people who are purchasing, right? When we're doing pre-approval letters for people, those are typically coming from a realtor. The realtor is typically referring us that person. And the only thing the realtor cares about is that the deal closes and it closes quickly. Realtors don't care about what rate you give their client. They don't care what program your client gets into. They just want to make sure that when they send you somebody, you can close the deal and close it fast so that they can get their commission as fast as possible. So speed is a huge factor in being a successful loan officer. It's not the only factor, but it is a big factor. And again, the what we're talking about here is being quick about what we can do on our end as loan officers. We can't control a lot of the process. A lot of the process is out of our hands, especially when it comes to waiting for appraisals and things like that. They can take a long time, but we want to make sure that we're not holding anything up on our end. And all of the best salespeople, including loan officers are salespeople. Some people get into this industry thinking that it's not sales necessarily, that they won't have to, be on the phone and be very salesy. It absolutely is a sales position. It's not just originating loans and knowing how to execute those loans. It's a sales job. And so we're going to be on the phone. And just like all sales positions, it's going to be about the follow up. So following up with clients, not only in the sales process of getting them to actually fill out an application, but following up with them after, talking to some of the more top producing loan officers, they'll tell you that walking people through step by step after the application as well is huge. We want to educate our borrowers on the process, what's going to happen, who's going to call them about what the process is from here. These are things that you want to do, and they're going to not only help you through the process, but they can also save you from a lot, right? Especially when it comes to like trigger leads. So if you're in the business, you know what trigger leads are. When you pull your client's credit, they're inevitably going to be harassed by dozens of other mortgage companies that got their information from the credit bureaus and is going to be calling them saying, hey, I see you pulled your credit to refinance or buy a new house. I can give you a better deal or whatever. This is one of those things where we want to make sure as loan officers that we prepare our client for this, that we let them know, hey, unfortunately, there's really no way around this. They're trying to enact some laws and they just did enact a law, but there's really no way around it. They're going to get called a bunch of times. So the real key is for you to make them understand what's going on, make them understand that, these people are just calling. They don't actually know the rate they're getting. They're just saying, I could beat it. I could beat it. And just make sure your client understands that you're the one walking them through the transaction. And because again, if you don't, you may actually get your client stolen by one of these trigger lead callers that loan officers, tend to despise so much because they don't want their clients harassed and they definitely don't want their clients stolen from them, right? And so walking your client through every step of the process, managing their expectations is not just going to help you close a deal sooner, but it's also going to help you make sure that you keep your client and make sure that your client feels comfortable in working with you, not only on this transaction, but future transactions, because you educated them about the process and let them know what was going on instead of them just hoping that, they did their part and that you did your part and just hoping everything goes well. And product knowledge is a big part of being a successful loan officer as well, right? So knowing the type of products you can put people into. But I will say that being knowledgeable on the loan products is not as important as a lot of the other factors because there's so many loan products out there nowadays and so many outlets. I mean, on our team, we have over 290 correspondent investors and lenders to use. So that's tens of thousands of different loan programs that we have available to us. And in that situation, you're never going to know all of the products. Now, you should be very familiar with all of the conventional products, right? You should really know a lot about conventional FHA, VA, USDA, and these conventional type products. But the non-QM world is just absolutely amazing nowadays. And again, on our team, we have thousands and thousands of non-QM loan types. And those are you're never going to be able to remember them all. And remember, they all have different guidelines. So I would say that product knowledge is important to have a general knowledge of how everything works, but you don't have to remember every single guideline. And you don't have to know about every loan program you have available. You need to talk to your client, get the information, and then take that information and then find the loan program that's going to work for them because you're never going to know all of them off the top of your head. So while product knowledge is important, it's not as important as everything else. It's important to know where to get the product knowledge once you have the loan scenario from your client. So that means building that relationship with your client and making sure that they tell you what you need to know in order to go get that loan program that would fit what they're looking for. And the other part of relationship building, the other part of relationship building as a loan officer is building relationships with realtors. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Number one source of referrals, especially obviously purchases, but also referrals for refis too. But when somebody's purchasing a home, typically the realtor is the first person they go to, and the realtor says, "Hey, first you need to get pre-approved. Here's my person. They do a great job. They get you approved quickly." Whatever the case is, well, we want to be that loan officer that they're sending that business to. And again, I can't stress enough how much that they really don't care about how you get it done. They just want you to get the loan done as soon as possible. They don't care that you have 10,000 programs and that you're getting them this great program. They'll just say, "Great, let's close it. Let's close it. Let's do it." They just want to get paid as soon as possible. They don't care about the rate. They just want to make sure that you can take care of their clients and push their deals across the finish line. So with realtors, we obviously want to let them know we have great rates, but what they're more concerned about is, are we going to be able to close the deal at all, right? Is it going to be able to be closed? And that's where it really helps. Again, like on our team, having 290 plus outlets, tens of thousands of non-QM programs, chances are we're going to have a program that can close that deal. So that's kind of what we need to be talking to realtors about, is letting them know how many programs we have, how many outlets we have, how we can help them in all scenarios. Because what realtors deal with a lot is sending clients to get pre-approved, and they can't get pre-approved. So the realtor has a deal. They have a person saying, "I want to purchase a home." They refer them to a loan officer, and the loan officer said, "Well, they're not qualified." Well, if they're sending them to just any, bank or any lender that doesn't have all these non-QM programs, then they're just going to say, "Hey, they're denied. They can't get a conventional loan or a USDA or VA or FHA." Well, you want to be working with, an outlet like us that has thousands and thousands of loan programs, so that you have a place to put them. If we can't qualify them for conventional FHA, USDA, VA loans, then we will qualify them on bank statements or P&L or 1099 or asset utilization, or any of the different programs that we have out there. And so that's what we want to be talking to realtors about, is the fact that we can close their deal even when other loan officers can't, right? Especially if they're going to a large bank, a large lender, they're typically only going to be doing the mainstream agency type loans, where we can actually get in there, find a loan program out of the tens of thousands of loan programs we have to be able to put their client into. And so that's what we need to give to the realtors, is that assurance that we have more loan programs than anybody out there. And so that allows us to qualify more people for them, and not harp so much on the rates. Let's harp on the ability to close people who other people could not qualify. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why new loan officers fail. From what I've seen and the other coaches that I talk to and all that kind of good stuff, I think waiting for leads is a reason why loan officers fail, new loan officers. Now, on our team, we do provide you with leads, but we can't provide you with thousands of leads per day, hundreds of leads per day, right? So you're going to have to generate your own leads, and that means however you want to do it, whether it's advertising or social media. But most importantly, your own contact list, right? Most people have hundreds and hundreds of people in their contact list on their phone. Every single one of them should have a text from you or a call from you, letting them know this is what you do. You're a loan officer. You have thousands of programs you can qualify them for, not only for them, but if they would, please keep you in mind when they hear anybody else talking about needing a loan officer, or buying a house or refinancing, let them know, "Hey, I'm here. Please recommend me." And if you do that, there will be action. A lot of people, don't like working their sphere. There's so many people who have came to me and said, "Hey, you guys provide leads, right? Because I don't want to just harass my sphere, because everywhere I go, they say just just use your sphere to drum up deals." And it's just not realistic in this business to not get business from the people that you know. Everyone you know needs to know what you do, and they need to know that they can use you to do that. So you're not going to be able to get into this business and be so shy about people and trying to work with them and say, "Oh, well, if I just call leads I don't know, then I never have to deal with like something awkward about telling my friends and family they should use me." It's not going to work, right? I mean, there might be, 0.01% of people that have pulled that off. but it's just not going to work. You're going to need to get deals from your sphere. You're going to need to let everybody know that you are doing what you're doing and that you can help them. So I think one of the biggest mistakes is loan officers waiting for leads from somewhere else instead of creating their own leads, whether that is advertising or making content or, again, working their sphere, which is the easiest way to get deals. So many people say, well, once I start closing some leads, then I'll start getting using my sphere. And but it's backwards, right? Because it's so much easier to get somebody to do business with you that knows you or knows somebody who knows you that's a referral, than a random person, a random lead that you're calling off the internet or whatever it may be. And then consistency, I think, is one of the biggest reasons why new loan officers sometimes fail. You have to be consistent. You have to be doing this every single day, especially when it comes to follow ups. How are you going to be a salesperson and not follow up consistently, not follow up every day? It's just not going to work. And, make no mistake about it. We are salespeople. So, not doing it consistently enough. And then, of course, quitting too early. It takes time to build up your pipeline. It takes time to get deals. And most importantly, in the mortgage business, it takes time to close those deals. The average loan takes, 20 to 30 days to close. And we have some of the fastest outlets and we can do the loan as quick as humanly possible. However, you're still waiting on things. You're waiting on inspections. You're waiting on appraisals. You're waiting on the realtors, the contracts back. I mean, there's so many aspects of the transaction that we cannot control as the loan officer. And even if we're doing our best and we do a great loan, it's still going to take 20, 30 days to close. Sometimes we do our best job and we knock it out the park, but the loan takes 60 days to close because there's problems with, appraisals and getting an appraisal in that area or whatever the situation is. So quitting too early, I think, is a big thing. You can't come into the business thinking you're going to make six figures starting next month. Right? It's just not realistic. You have to first put in work to build your pipeline, build your referral network, and get the deals going. And then it's typically going to take about a month to close them. Right? So then it's going to take you time to get a check cut by your company. Some company take up to 6 weeks to pay you after you close the loan. Luckily with us on our team, we pay you the next day. Right? So definitely a great part about being on our team as a loan officer. Payday is every day. And we pay you the next day after the loan closes and you get all your paperwork in. We pay the next day, which is great. So, you've already probably waited about a month for that loan to close from when you started it. So it's nice to be able to get paid the very next day instead of waiting, 2 weeks for the pay period to be over or, 6 weeks for, the company to process everything. So definitely, a good thing there. So what do you do today if you're looking to be a loan officer? Well, first you're going to need your license. So you're going to go to newmlo.com. You're going to take that course, get your license, and then if you want to join our team, you're going to go to the join page on newmlo.com and join. So we're going to walk you through the whole process if you're looking to get your license when you go to newmlo.com. So this is also a great thing for realtors. I know, we get a lot of realtors watching these shows. And if you're a realtor, it's a great thing to get your loan officer license. And we have a lot of support on our team to where you can refer deals in instead of taking all of your time to do the loans yourself. But if you're a realtor, remember, you can make both sides of the transaction as long as you're giving the proper disclosures. So getting your mortgage license as a realtor is a huge plus, and it's a huge opportunity for you to kind of, quote unquote, double dip on deals and make extra income. So for some of you realtors out there, just getting your mortgage license will literally net you more money for the same transactions that you're doing. But you need to have your license in order to refer those deals in and be a part of them and make a commission from them. Now, you could also do the loans yourself and make a huge commission. And now you're making the full commission on both sides. But I think it's a great opportunity to also be able to just get your license as a realtor in order to be able to refer deals in to work with other loan officers and still get a percentage. So you can go to newmlo.com and get your license that way, and then we can bring you on board and getting you referring deals in so that you can make more money on the transactions that you're already doing as a realtor. So if you have not been in the real estate business, it's again still a great time to get into it. Go to newmlo.com. You don't necessarily need experience in real estate. You don't need your license yet. We can walk you through that process. So go to newmlo.com and we'll bring you on board and give you the training that you need, not just the training on how to do loans, but our team also provides sales training on top of that. We provide leads and we provide training on how you can call those leads and turn those leads into deals. So what you can do today is go ahead and sign up at newmlo.com and we can get you started. So we will be back here with some more episodes. We're going to be interviewing some top producing loan officers, some realtors, some mortgage executives, and giving you kind of the point of view from those people on how to become a successful loan officer. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you on the next episode of the new MLO Show.